Hi everybody! Oh my god, the camera is kind of round, but it's
Because you need to be right.
kind of cool actually.
You have it on super wide mode.
Hi everybody!
Hi,
I'm Luna.
everybody.
Welcome back to MOONCAST. Wow, I haven't done MOONCAST in like half a year already. It's really kind of weird, going back. It's changing.
It's gonna fix. It's gonna fix.
All right, better. Okay.
There you go. You can move it wherever
Okay.
you want. Do you want it that close? I can do the midway point.
I want you to move up a little bit because my head is cut off. That's perfect. Okay. Look at all the bags we have. And by the way, Hi everybody. I'm very glad to be here. Finally, I am finally back to Vietnam. My voice weird? Did you hear my voice?
Yeah, it's mine is too.
So we still have,
because we were talking loud last night.
Yeah, and we are still recovering from allergy sickness in America that I had continuously for 2 freaking months. Can you believe it? I was sick for 2 months straight in the USA just because of the allergy thing. I never had that in my life. I was born in Vietnam, living in Vietnam for 30 years, and I never been that sick that much. And it was because of the USA. I'm allergic to the USA. That's my final conclusion. All right. Oh, now, hi everybody. So, uh, if you have any questions for me, please ask. I know that in the last 6 months, I encountered tons and tons of questions, but I couldn't, have chance to answer them all. I'm very excited to be here today, and
You should probably kind of announce your book.
exactly. I mean, I'm about to do it. You go give me my book right over there. By the way, and during that 6 months, I didn't, it doesn't mean that I didn't work. Actually, I work my ass off on this. This is my very brown work. This is my translation of the curriculum of the basic principles of Marxism-Leninism. This is our university textbook. This is very important, and the original book may be like a third of the size only. That's how condensed it is. Yes, because I'm just translating part one of it. Because the actual book is this thick, and it has all dialectical materialism, historical materialism, and also political science and scientific socialism, and it's extremely condensed. And this is just my translation of part one, which is about the worldview and philosophical methodology of Marxism-Leninism. And other than that, this is the dialectical materialism, the core, the core ideology, the core philosophy of Marxism-Leninism. And in this book, the main, the original book only like a third of the size. But what added to it is the values that added to this is that my annotation, which is this like 2/3 of the book. I am very proud of this. And I mean, if you haven't checked this out yet, it is in banyanhouse.org. Let me show you the site. It has the many versions of it. There's one print version like this, where you can purchase in banyanhouse.org.
Wait, one more update.
Yes.
Since I know there's a lot of international people watching right now, I'm sure.
Oh.
We have just finally gotten the proof back from the printer that will allow us to reduce the shipping for international orders.
Finally, yes. It took us 2 months.
So we're not totally 100% sure yet, but I think we'll be able to reduce the shipping for international orders for the print version of the book. Currently, it's $30, and we're going to try to get it down, I think, to hopefully around $15.
Yeah, half price.
So for the shipping. So if you want to order the book, but the international shipping price has turned you off of it, email noncompete@gmail.org and put in the description international book order.
Yeah.
International book order. And what we'll do is we'll email you as soon as we have that locked in and the price reduced for international shipping.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's an announcement for
That's
international
great
orders.
news. We're trying so hard.
The issue is that so we don't have one printer. We have 3 printers, and so we do that because that way it's easier for us to try to there's different people in different countries and across the USA and stuff. So and different printers can ship to different places in different times with different prices. So it gives us more options.
Yeah.
And there's one printer that we finally got our proof back and we've been able to check it and everything like that. And anyway, so that's why the printing price has been higher before, but now we've been able to get it lower, and hopefully we'll be able to get it faster as well.
Yeah, hopefully,
because they just have more places all around the world.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Does that make sense? Thank you. And back to Luna. Okay, sorry.
That is very great news. I felt really bad because we couldn't find a cheaper shipping, company to do that for us, and a printing company too. And I mean, finally, some good news happened. I hope by the end of this week, right?
Oh no, like by tomorrow. Maybe
by tomorrow, nice.
Maybe today.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm praying now. To
so
all
email us and
of
we'll let you know as soon as that gets locked in.
All right, so that is the good news, everybody. And this book is, a lot of people, I've been running my channel for 5 years, and lots of people have been asking me about what is the good first book if they are just into socialism and communism, where to start. And finally, after 5 years, I have the answer of them. This is the book to start.
Don't forget the ebook you can get for free.
Yes, I'm about to get into that.
Okay. All right, I'm going outside for a bit. So.
Yes. As Ida said, the ebook is free, or you can choose your own donation based on whatever kind of financial situation you are in. So it's only like open like that, and you can download it for free. Don't worry about it. I spent 3 years working on this, so I can let the information out there for people all over the world to learn about it. This is the point of being a socialist and a communist, is to help other comrades, from each according to your ability to each according to your need. And if you can donate, I really, really, really appreciate that. And all the donations will be for the part 2, which is about historical materialism, that I hopefully will start maybe the next month, May, right, next month. And this next book is going to be about historical materialism, which is the correct definition of it is the application of dialectical materialism into the material conditions of human society. And you can learn that. You can learn how to apply the theories you learn in this part 1 onto the society that you are living in. It is very practical in that way. So yes, and here is, I'm showing you. Give me a second. I haven't been streaming in MOONCAST for 6 months. I almost forgot everything. Present, share screen. All right, Banyan House. So this is where you can buy the books for yourself, both the ebook or the actual, print version of it. It's banyanhouse.org. This is the ebook available, and then the actual print copy. And also you can also connect to our merch store to buy other stuff too, like pins or patches or stickers if you want. If you ask, I will give why did we choose Banyan House? So Banyan is a very traditional, like tree of Vietnam that for thousands of years the banyan tree have been, very close and deep into our social life of Vietnamese people. And we believe that, banyan tree means that, it is a tree for community, it is a tree for collectivism, and they can live for thousands of years. In Da Nang, the city that I am currently living in right now, we have an 800-year-old banyan tree on the mountain next to the ocean, and it's very beautiful. And in the wartime, under that banyan tree, hundreds of meetings of communists fighting against French and the Americans. Like we met each other there, we planned all the plants over there, and we lived under the protection of that banyan tree. It is a very meaningful and very important tree to the life of Vietnamese people. And since my name is Luna, it means the moon. And if you look at the moon in at night with the full moon, you will see the shape of banyan trees on it. So that is a belief of Vietnamese. Well, there is a huge banyan tree living in the moon, and you can see it in the full moon night. So yeah, that is why we have that idea of the Banyan's house, and we hope to bring collectivism, communism, and socialism, and it will live forever. It can live for 1,000 years. So hopefully, our comrade, our solidarity can survive that long too. That is a very meaningful kind of tree to not just Vietnamese people, but a lot of other people in the world too. And it means a lot to people, especially Vietnamese people. All right, and oh my gosh, Chan's comrade in Texas, please stay safe. I know that in Texas and Florida right now, it is very dangerous for queer people to live there. Please stay strong and please stay safe. We have a saying of in Vietnam that you have to survive to fight another day. Do not be adventurous. Do not be suicidal. You need to survive to fight another day. And it's another fact about, the members of the Communist Party of Vietnam is this. In the wartime, we were fighting against imperialist USA. Whenever we had a member who joined the Communist Party of Vietnam, one of the very first vows that all the members had to take was that never commit suicide. That is a very important vow. And that vow saved a lot of lives. So that at that time it was miserable. We were fighting against a superpower enemy, and they were barbaric. There was no mercy, and they would slaughter us and slaughter our people and rape our women. And a lot of people got arrested and got tortured by CIA, and many of them said that it was that vow that kept them alive because it was so miserable that many of them didn't even want to live anymore because they'd rather die of that situation, but because of that vow that they had to survive to fight another day. So a lot of them survived the reasoning and the torture, and they came back after the war, and they still live to this day. So it is very important for you to survive and fight another day. It is, we that is our survival tactic. We are not people who like heroic in a sense that adventurous means that we will quote unquote like do some not very, I mean, again, long story short, you have to survive to fight another day. Okay, do not be adventurous. So yep, we all need revolutionary optimism more than ever. Exactly, now more than ever. Yes. Just so revolutionary optimism is different from normal optimism. We all know that normal optimism is just like saying, like, wishful thinking, like, oh, everything's going to be fine, so don't worry about it. Just don't think about it, and everything's going to be okay. Like, no, it's not. Everything's not going to be okay if you do not do anything. That is the whole point, of learning, studying, and practicing ideology into practice. Revolutionary optimism, on the other hand, is a kind of optimism where you know exactly where you are. You know clearly about the material conditions of the society that you're living in, but you still have a hope for humanity. You learn and you organize. Very important. You learn, but you have to go out there and organize and to change the world and believe that we can change the world and know how we can change the world. That is very important. That is revolutionary optimism. For example, in Vietnam, under colonialism time, especially in the 1940s when Vietnam were under both colonialism and fascism by the French and by the Japanese. It was miserable at that time. 2 million of Vietnamese in the north died of starvation in the matter of just a few years because all of our food and natural resources were stolen and brought back to France and Japan. But Vietnamese communists, we didn't lose hope. 90%, over 90% of Vietnamese population at that time didn't know how to read and write. Of course, we didn't even understand what the heck socialism and communism meant, and also like we didn't even know who was Marx and Engels, the guy on the other side of the earth. It was 2 million of us starved to death, and we didn't even have anything to eat at that time, living under both colonialist French and fascist Japanese. But Vietnamese communists, we didn't lose hope. We learned the material conditions of Vietnam at that time, and we wanted to start a revolution. And how did we do it? We had a successful communist revolution in a matter of just a few months, just because we got into the rice storage owned by French and Japanese. We stole the rice and we stole weapons, and we redistributed rice and weapons to hungry people. That was how we had a successful revolution. That was how we got the support of millions of Vietnamese at that time who didn't even know how to read and write. But we got millions of them to support communism and socialism because it was the only force that fed our people. That is very important. Like right now in the USA, I've been there for nearly half a year, and I know how fucked up it was. All right, it is sad, especially for non-white people and for queer people. It is dangerous. Just look at this how the cops act and how all the laws and new laws keep being passed. How the drag show is being banned in Texas, and also how Florida just pass like death sentence, so they can give death sentence to queer people, which is fascist. It is fascism right there. And how do we get people to support us? In the material conditions, you say is that is the indoctrination is very heavy. Alienation is extremely strong. Everybody that you have no connection with other people whatsoever, and individualism brought in your mind, and millions of people living under misery living conditions, but they have nobody to help, nobody to reach out to talk. And we as socialists, we as communists, what do we do now? In my very very honest opinion about this, based on the actual history of Vietnam, what we should do right now is that you should focus on organizing. You get together because you are nothing if you're alone. Nobody can do any big thing alone. It's impossible. We are social beings. We need other people. We need to organize. We need to work together to build dual power structure, to give people mutual aid, to give what you have, and to get people support by going to help them first, by offering help first. That is very important. Of course, houseless people, they don't even know what they eat tonight. They don't have, like, how can they bother to learn what communism actually means? How can they read Marx and Engels when they super hungry and they sick and they cannot get help from anybody? What we need to do right now, just like Vietnamese in the 40s, that we need to go out there, we help our comrades, we make them see that only us be able to help you and willing to help you. That is how we spread our ideology and we gain the trust of the people. It's very important right now that because of the indoctrination, the government of the USA been spending tons and tons and tons of money to run a propaganda system. It's indoctrination system, which is the mainstream media, which is your schools, which is your university, which is your social media. We, the people, we need to go out there and talk to the masses and gain their trust. But again, survive to fight another day. Do as what you can and do as what you want. I am not forcing anybody to do anything that they don't want to do or they cannot do. My one of my people usually call it lunar tenant. It's a bit funny is that try to not do nothing. Just do as what you can. It's very important. Yep. I mean, that's been the extent of my process. Buy and distribute food and supplies to an unhoused encampment. Yeah. I mean, individualism is, yeah, individualism is utopian fantasy of an anti-social mind. Exactly. I mean, it's Ho Chi Minh, wrote about it a lot. You can say that his entire work of his entire life is to fight against individualism. He said for thousands of times that we as socialists and communists we need to eliminate individualism because it is one of the biggest obstacles for us to get together and to make some change in real life. I was this poor in 1991. Yeah, I had $1 a week for food for myself, my mother, and my dog. Between using another dollar each for 3 months, we all survived. Yeah, we all survived. And then I'm needed to see. And I was born in early 90s, and my what do you call it? My breakfast allowance at that time was 500 dong a morning. 500 dong is like maybe 6 days a week. It is 3,000 dong, and 3,000 dong is around 15 cents. So 15 cents, 1 5, 15 cents is my breakfast allowance for a whole week for me when I was a kid. So it was how poor I was, how poor my family was, but we survived. Thanks to the socialist path that we're walking in Vietnam right now. So I mean, I'm back to Vietnam, and I am very freaking happy. First of all, it is because of street food is so amazing. So don't get me wrong, I like the USA. I like the nature. It's beautiful. The food is okay, even though because it doesn't mean that the food is not good. It means that I am not familiar with the food yet. Like you eat a lot of red meat and cheese and a lot of salt. Oh my goodness, you eat so salty. You need to fix it. This is my very honest opinion. Please go fix it. You eat so salty. It is bad for your health, man. Why are you so salty? Come on, you don't even sweat that much. I mean, it's cold in Vietnam, and you mostly just travel by car, and you go inside and you have air conditioning. You do not sweat that much. Why do you eat so salty? It's bad for your health, and it's bad for your kidneys. Come on, go fix it. And I was not familiar with that, and many times when I was hungry, because I am Vietnamese and I love eating fresh vegetable with cheap rice. So I have a very high expectation of the quality and the price of vegetable that I eat every day. So many times when I was out of the house, driving somewhere, and I was hungry, but I do not want to eat a whole cheeseburger because it's 3 in the afternoon. I still need to eat dinner in like 3 hours. All right, I don't want to eat a whole cheeseburger or chicken burger, and I also do not want to eat any corporation snacks in gas stations. Like it's unhealthy. And I couldn't have any option rather than drive all the way to Walmart to buy some food and go all the way home to cook. And by that time, this is already time for dinner. It was so miserable. I couldn't I miss street food in Vietnam, man. For example, we're hungry. We walk out of the fucking house, and there's a sweet lady in the corner of the street selling some delicious snack. It's like maybe 50 cents to $1, and that's it. And then that's it. It's like that. I mean, it's really sad that lots of people who never go out of the USA and they never experience that kind of privilege that Vietnamese have, which is street food, cheap, high quality, healthy, and available everywhere. A lot of you don't know that. It's sad. I kind of feel sorry for you.
You're really. I mean, Luna was very, if you haven't noticed, if you've been watching like the last 2 breadcasts we had as well, Luna has been very affected by not having street food for 5 months.
Yeah.
It's obviously taken its toll on you, Luna.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Let's get some food emojis in the chat to feed Luna's tired soul.
Eddie, I want to visit Vietnam, but I'm still working on my spice tolerance. Well,
Bland food in Vietnam.
we can get bland food in Vietnam. We think that is boring and
In fact, tell them about how you usually control your own spice input.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, in Vietnam, especially in the north. Like not like in the USA. It's kind of weird too. Okay, kind of culture shock. When I went to a restaurant in the USA and you can only have whatever they gave you, which is a bowl of food or a plate, there is no spice whatsoever on the table, which is weird because in Vietnam, what we do is usually the restaurant will give you a plate or a bowl, which is pretty much plain. And then on the table that you're sitting on, there's a whole collection of all kind of spice that you can use. Hot sauce, fish sauce, soy sauce, and then we have like garlic, the pickled onion and pickled garlic, and you have a whole a basket of fresh vegetable and some salt, some black sauce, like black pepper, red pepper powder. It depends, but I mean, nearly every single restaurant you eat in Vietnam, there's gonna be a whole collection of spices on the table for free that you can add. Oh, lemon and lamb too fresh, not like the lamb juice, fresh on the table, and you can just add them as your taste when you eat it. It's a lot more freedom. I mean, to be honest, I feel like the restaurant in the USA is very fascistic in a sense that you can only whatever they cook, however they cook, and you do not have a control.
Huh? What are you talking about? You can get.
No, you have to order it right from the batch with the waitress. You cannot just put things on the order from the table into your bowl, as in Vietnam. Like I want some more fish sausages, I want some soy, I want garlic pickle here, like that's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to think about that more. But yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but, yeah.
Like when we went to that Asian cuisine house, there's nothing on the table.
Yeah.
Literally nothing, which is strange in Vietnam.
This is starting to stray a little bit into bedtime discourse with it. All right. Look, Luna's right that we don't have those options in the USA. I just think it's funny you called it fascistic. I mean, yeah, it's a fascistic phenomenon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't. I just don't want to be hot take. It's just kind of hot.
Hot take. Maybe the closest thing is, like make your own burrito bowl in Moses or something. You can add your own ingredients in there.
No, yeah, I mean, the idea is you order it the way you want it, but I get, but yeah. All right. Okay. This is straying into bedtime discourse. We're getting very deep in the weeds right now.
Uh-huh.
But there's a philosophical. You're right. There's a philosophical path to be explored here.
Mm-hmm.
In the USA, you have to decide generally speaking, any adjustments you want to make to your meal as you're ordering it, right? So you could say like, I want a burger with no pickles, or I want the fish with no salt. But once it arrives, you're stuck with what you got, with the exception you got salt and pepper, and sometimes you can ask for hot sauce.
Okay.
But you got to ask for it. There's a gate. I don't know.
Which is really, a lot of people would not do it. I would not do it.
You have to. Yeah.
I don't want to make the waiters and waitresses more miserable.
The spices are gate kept.
Yeah. Right?
In the American style restaurant experience, yes.
If I order food in America exactly as what I want in Vietnam, the waitress is gonna hate me forever.
That's true. Yeah, it's a different. You're okay. It's a totally different kind of contextual garden that we're operating in a Vietnamese restaurant, where it's like they give you the palette, and then you adjust it to your individual. Yeah, so you have a little bit more individual freedom. Whereas in the USA, restaurants are more authoritarian. You have to. The spices are gate kept more, and you kind of are stuck with what you got once it hits the table.
I know.
Okay.
And because I don't want to, I know.
I don't know. I'm not making fun of Luna, but I find it amusing how passionate you are about this. And
it's important.
No,
food.
No, you're right. I'm not. That's what I said. I'm sincerely not making fun of you. I just. But I think that says something too about Vietnam. You're passionate about.
Tell us how you order. Details.
I used to be very picky when I ordered food, by the way. My hamburger orders when I was up until I was about middle school was, I want a hamburger with ketchup and extra pickles only. What a horrible, horrible order, right? No onions, no mustard, no lettuce, no tomato.
No mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise. Ketchup and extra pickles only. It's like the worst order, I think. No, I guess ketchup only would be the worst order. At least pickles give it a little.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And no lettuce? Hey.
I'm curious what the chat has to say about this discourse.
How much Southern food was eaten in the U.S.?
Oh, we ate a lot of Southern food, that's for sure. Biscuits, Sawhouse gravy.
They're so good. Deep fried.
Fried chicken.
Fish.
Fried fish.
Low country boil.
Low country broil. She crab soup. A lot of oysters.
Lots of oyster. The first time I learned that you deep fried everything. You deep fried oyster, which is what in the world? You deep fried oysters.
Now I would love extra onions and extra mustard. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody who likes ketchup and pickles only. It's just my personal tastes have changed a lot.
Yes, exactly. I would not love a cheeseburger unless I have onions in it. Fresh.
But the great thing about Vietnam is you are the master of your own little domain. You have individual freedom. You have civil liberties to choose what spices and garnishes you add to your dish. Oh, BP, I can talk to you now. I tried to call. I'm going to talk to BP.
All right. Oh, I also love, I know it's very.
Give me some money.
My wallet in that handy bag. Okay. This is like, deep fried chicken liver on the back.
Oh yeah, you and my mom
love it. I love chicken livers, and it must be like deep fried.
All right.
Has Luna tried a Scottish deep fried Mars bar? Never heard of. Interesting.
I've had a lot of deep fried candy bars at markets and fairs and such, but.
You two make me want to move to Vietnam so damn bad. I'm sorry, but Vietnam is awesome.
All right, I'm back.
All right, so okay, we're about 40 minutes into the stream right now. I want to talk a little bit about, because I think it's very important, and since the book is out here, I want to talk a little bit about, how people, generally speaking, in Vietnam, we understand development, because we have a basic education of Marxism-Leninism, especially dialectical materialism, and that's why we kind of understand it. But generally speaking, people in the West do not understand that, which is very very sad. They can't. How do you say it? I met a lot of USians, and many comrades are very 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 cool. I like them a lot, but generally speaking, the normal working class people, they are very heavily indoctrinated, and they do not understand the concept of development, how to develop things from phase A to phase 3, B, the phase B, something like that. It's and this is a let's talk about this a little bit. All right. So this is from an article. Shout out to my comrade. Let's talk Vietnam. He's my Vietnamese comrade, good comrade living in Ho Chi Minh City in the South Vietnam, and he support our work a lot. And this is his newest tweet. And if you're tired of me, you're sick of me, the Vietnamese girl being online, go check out Let's Talk Vietnam's Twitter, and follow him. He's cool. He's my comrade, and you can have a different perspective about the life under Vietnam, something like that. So for example, this is a textbook. This is excerpt from the textbook. This one. If we're talking about the dialectical negation, in the section of negation, and this is the explanation of what is a dialectical negation. Dialectical negation is not a complete negation, or in other the word is a deletion of the old. Rather than that, dialectical negation is a continuity of growth in which the old develops into the new. In processes of dialectical negation, the new forms and develops on its own to the process of filtering out the unsuitable factors while retaining the suitable content. So, and this is what Lenin called dialectical negation. So now, just ask if you still don't understand it, but the point of this is that we are trying to fight against the metaphysical definition of negation, which is the A thing exists to negate the B thing, and the B thing totally disappeared, and the A thing will replace that. Now, this is an incorrect understanding of negation, because the true negation is dialectical negation. It means that the A thing develops from the B thing, and it inherits the factors of the B thing, and it only keeps the factors that is suitable for the new living conditions. And the old factors that are not suitable anymore will be eliminated. It's just like a software, and you got update. It's exactly that. The new version of the software is the version that is developed based on the old version, and it fixed glitches. It has more functions or new functions, and the old function that you don't need anymore and it's bad for the computer is eliminated. It is the upgradation. That is negation of negation. And we believe that our the earth, the material world, even human society, it is a chain of negation of negation. That is why we call the chapter, the part in that book, is negation of negation. Like the B exists to replace the A, and then the C exists to replace the B, but not complete replacement. It is just like a part of it, and it's the new society developed from the old society. Now this also applied to a whole big concept of the entire human society. For example, right now this is the next part about how Vietnam built socialism. This is from the Communist Review, the official news site, newspaper of the Communist Party of Vietnam. This is what we describe our path to socialism. The path to socialism is a process of constantly consolidating and strengthening socialist factors to make them more dominant and irreversible. Now, what does this mean? Yeah, there's birds outside. Yes, right. The red mermaid is birds and chickens. So yes. So now the concept of development. Vietnam is building socialism. We considered socialism to be a transitional period of moving a society from capitalism to socialism. And I explained this in detail in my video, Is Vietnam Socialist? One of my most viewed video, all right? Now, the problem is a lot of Westerners, they do not understand this concept. And that is why they've been saying, oh, Vietnam is not socialist because whatever, because the Vietnamese workers do not own all the means of production yet. They think about socialism metaphysically because they think of it as the end goal, a step stone or something that you have to pass so you can be called like that. Meanwhile, in Vietnam, we have a totally opposite understanding of it. It means that we understand socialism as a process, socialism as a transitional period. It is not a stepstone. Whenever a society decided to move towards socialism, to build a society where workers will own their own means of production and to sway away from capitalism, and the goal is to build communism. Now, that is socialism. Now, I do not say that I am right and you are wrong, or you are right or I am wrong. I just explain to you how Vietnamese people, we understand that concept and why we call our people that. All right, it is very important. It is not an end goal. Socialism is not an end goal. Socialism is just a transitional period to reach communism. And the goal of Vietnam is this. The goal of Vietnam is by 2045, we will be a developed country with wealthy people and a wealthy society. And then we will be socialist enough so we can move further to the next step, which is communism, which is build a stateless and classless society. What Vietnam is doing right now is we are eliminating poverty. As Marx said in the critique of the Gotha program, we are, I know, a lot of ignorant people who do not understand what they're talking about. They took as a gotcha. Marx in that book, I could be wrong, but I remember Marx in that book, the critique to the Gotha program, he said like, socialism, the point of it is to distribute poverty, to eliminate poverty. A lot of people do not understand this. They're like, oh, so means that socialism is to distribute poverty, means that everybody must be poor under socialism. Or like you must be poor to be socialist. Like, dude, you're just so goddamn wrong that I don't even know how to explain to you. The whole point of Marx when he wrote that is that socialism, a social society, is to redistribute poverty to the entire society so we can eliminate poverty. All right, because capitalism is all about accumulating wealth. One single human being owns so much wealth that it turns the rest of the society into misery and poverty. What we do is that we redistribute that poverty to the rich, wealthy capitalists so we can eliminate poverty because everybody can share. So for example, like the 1% of you say right now who own hundreds of billions of dollars, while the 99% don't even have a healthcare. All right? That is when we need to redistribute poverty to those rich asshole capitalists. And then so it means that for all of us to have a food to eat, clothes to wear, house to live in, and have a healthcare. That is it. And also another the most misunderstood concept is the dictatorship of the proletariat. Lots of anti-ignorant ding-dongs. Oh, the dictatorship of the proletariat. Oh, it's dictatorship. It must be bad. It's authoritarian. They conveniently forget that it is a dictatorship of the proletariat. Now, who is the proletariat? It is a freaking working class. It is a fucking you. It is a society where the working class gain the power and control the society, the people, the masses. While now we are living in a society where we are living under the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, which is a 1% of the society, which is a very ridiculous, and we need to take back our power. Yeah, that is it. I'm very sad that, like those ignorant ding dongs, they just, heard the words, and then, redistribute poverty. Oh, dictatorship, it must be bad. It must be that it's authoritarian dictatorship. It must be poverty. Like, oh gosh. So, I mean, yeah, it's sad. So, what our understanding is that socialism, that's how like a so main argument against socialism, exactly. And I mean, it's and a lot of people fall into that lies. And also, I want to dunk on a lot of. I know that hashtag. Not all people are like this, but there are a few anarchists, quote unquote, a few anarchists that have the same exact talking point of the State Department, which is Vietnam is a revisionist, not Vietnam is the traitor of communism, and Vietnam is authoritarian. There's no human rights whatsoever. It just happened to sound exactly like Vice and Human Rights Watch. The same talking point. The Radio Free Asia. It's really freaking funny that they call themselves anarchists and leftists, very progressive. They say just exactly like reactionaries coming from outside of Vietnam. It's really funny. Hashtag not all anarchists are like that. My husband is an anarchist, so I know I'm not talking about there are some people exist out there and they share the same talking point with the State Department. And the thing that they've been criticizing Vietnam like a lot is that Vietnam is authoritarian. Vietnam is not a stateless class society yet. So it means that Vietnam is terrible and Vietnam should not exist. I mean, it just happened to line up coincidentally with the goal of the West, is that to dismantle the government of Vietnam so Vietnamese people can be subject for imperialism. But now because Vietnam is not stateless and class society yet, so and also is a very ding dong argument, I gotta say, speaking as a socialist and communist. The argument say all states are bad. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just because your state sucks, it doesn't mean that all the other states are bad. They do not understand the essence of the existence of different kind of states. Now, I know for a fact that Vietnam state is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. All right, it's not perfect. It has corruption. We acknowledge we have a corruption, and we've been fighting against corruption a lot. A lot of other stuff too, But that is just a phenomena. The essence of the state of Vietnam is that this state is formed after a communist revolution. It's totally fucking different from the state of the USA that formed by settlers. Totally different. The racist, white supremacist settlers. The state of Vietnam is formed after we had a fucking communist revolution in 1945. It is formed by socialists and communists. And the existence of the state today of Vietnam is to protect ourselves from the outside threat, which is coming from the USA, right? The motherland of those anarchists. And as Fidel Castro said clearly in one interview a long time ago, he also received the same exact attacks from those leftists. They asked him like, okay, if you are saying you're internationalist, you want to build a classless and stateless society, why do you still wave that flag? Why do you still have a state? You have the people to rule all the other people. Why don't you get rid of that? Like, this is what Fidel Castro answered. I quoted it in my video on nationalism. You can go and check it out. But generally speaking, I am paraphrasing, but he said this. Because yes, we are internationalists. And as long as the day that the whole world reach communism, the whole world decides to get rid of all the states and the class, we will be very happy to put down that beautiful flag of Cuba. And we will stop calling ourselves Cuban. And we would love to live in a society where there is no borders, where there is no states, totally stateless and class society. But to get to that point, we need to protect ourselves. Like the state of Cuba right now is literally protecting their people from sanctions from the USA. The states of Vietnam right now exist to protect Vietnamese people from capitalism and imperialism from the USA that they constantly want to sabotage and to put us at a subject imperialism to make them richer. The existence of states of Vietnam right now is to protect and defend ourselves. The moment that we get rid of the state right now is the moment our people will become slaves. But they either do not understand that because they're too dogmatic about it, or they being too ignorant about it, or they literally working for the State Department because they share the end goal of dismantling the government of Vietnam so they can imperialize the shit out of our people, our country. And yeah, that is the final end goal. So they are either one of the two. And we need to, fight against both. It is very disgusting. The nature of the existence of the state of Cuba and state of Vietnam, state of Laos too, is to protect our people from capitalism, imperialism, and to defend ourselves, to make sure that the Vietnam War will not happen again. That is very different. And we are literally begging, desperately waiting for leftists in the imperial court to somehow have a revolution to eliminate their own state. Okay, so if you really want to get rid of the state immediately, why don't you start in their own home first? Why do you have to go outside and lecture the rest of the world about how to build our society? Meanwhile, it's literally burning in your own backyard. It is very, very frustrating, man. We welcome constructive criticism. Yes, and we know that we are not perfect. I said many times. We still have pollution. We still have poverty. Our healthcare in Vietnam is affordable, but not free yet. We want free healthcare for everybody. All right? And we still have fucking corruption. It's terrible. Last week, another CEO and high-ranking guy from the government went to jail because of corruption. Now we are having trial in court for those who are happening right now in Hanoi. Yeah, we admit that we're not perfect. We have a corruption and we're fixing it. But it doesn't mean that we have to dismantle the state, because we know for a freaking fact, Vietnam. So, according to Ben Norton, shout out to Ben Norton, by the way, I like him. There's a poll to ask, people from the countries all over the world about how much they support their state, and the top 2 countries that support their state the most are, can you guess? The top 2 countries that support their states the most. Number 1 is China, and number 2 is Vietnam. So it says something, right? And I remember that only 36% of the population of USA support their state. This is how distrust people have of their own state. It's the numbers, the statistics saying something right here. And also, they don't understand this too. Vietnam is evil, commie country, authoritarian, totalitarian, one of the 5 totalitarian states in the world, according to the USA textbook, history textbook. They brag about, the USA democracy, quote unquote, system is so great that you have the whole entire 2-party system, which is aka one capitalist system controlled by the bourgeoisie. This is the bourgeois democracy, where the bourgeoisie control the entire country and the people's voice is not heard at all. But since Vietnam is one single party system, it is authoritarian. They act like they have a two capitalist party somehow superior, like perfect system or something. It's really bullshit. What they don't understand is this. Yes, theoretically on the paper we have a one party system. But there are two things that you need to keep in mind this. First of all, you do not need to be a party member to run for the government of Vietnam. Lots of people do not know this. They thought that we have to be a member of the Communist Party to run the government, but actually, no, you do not need to be a member of the Communist Party to run for the government. It just happened that most of people who are Communist Party member are higher, more likely to be voted because they fucking communists and we love communism. All right, but you do not need to be a party member to run for the government. Second of all, since it is a single party system, it literally means there's no party system. Because we don't care. We really do not care what party you are in because like you are either party or non-party and it doesn't fucking matter. And you can watch a lot of videos where I literally translated the meetings of the National Congress of Vietnam, the National Assembly of Vietnam, where everybody just sit with each other and we discuss the problems. And nobody cares about what party they are in. Because it's just like, either non-party or party. It's just like, it's a non-problem. Nobody cares. So for example, when we vote for one problem, people vote freely to choose solution. And then after they move to vote for a next solution to the next situation. And people just realize that. I mean, and what I'm trying to say is this. Because the USA has a party of the dual party system, it is a freaking fact that in most of the meetings of the Congress in the USA, they vote for a solution because their party picked this solution. They do not vote it because this solution is actually practical or good or bad. They voted because, their party leader said that. So it happens many times that when a problem was brought up and there are two main, options and they vote for it, but like all the members of Democratic Party vote for this option and all the members of Republican Party vote for the other option. It's fucking unfair. People do not care about the options, about the solutions themselves. People just care about, is my party voting for this? Now that is bad. That is not democratic. That is not how you run a country. Meanwhile, in the National Assembly of Vietnam, once you get into the National Assembly House, nobody cares about what party you are in right now. So virtually, there is no party. So once the problem is being brought up, people are free to express their real thought and they just vote based on their real, actual, true opinion. They don't have to be scared about like, what if the party leader didn't like this option, but if I vote for this, would they hate me or they would kick me out of the party or something? No, it doesn't happen like that in Vietnam. So it means that it is freer in Vietnam to express your opinion. And we really truly care about the solutions, not just for, political purpose or something. Corporations choose the solution in the US, the government is just a board of directions. Yeah, exactly. It's run by capitalists, Literally, it is disgusting for me to see, a bunch of rich capitalist assholes just kept running for Congress. They bought their ways into, politics in the USA, which is disgusting. Like Trump, literally millionaires. And also, also like what did you call the other guy? I don't even remember. Another billionaire who just went to the Congress, Kanye West. Excuse fucking me. It's disgusting, and you allow that to happen, and you call that democracy. What kind of fucking democracy when a billionaire guy who uses his money to buy into the election, nobody fucking votes for them, nobody like them, nobody like love them, nobody want them to be the ruling class. But since they have fucking money, it means free. It's an upside down definition of freedom that you have over there, but I don't know how to fix it. It's disgusting. Oh, that's super chat. Oh, I'm checking now. Give me a second. Give me a second. Stream element. Do I have the stream elements? No. All right, give me a second. I'm checking right now. Oh, lobbyists make most law. Voters in the U.S. Votes in the USA are based on donors, not voters. Our system is bought and paid for. Yeah, exactly right. And they have the freaking nerve to call it democracy. Why are calling us authoritarian? Oh my gosh. Why can't I log into my stream elements on this computer? Weird. YouTube. All right, got it. Huh. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Super chat from JG 1982. Thank you so much. Yes. I'm checking the chat right now. I'm so sorry. Yeah. If you see quiet, checking the chat right now. Yeah, talking about I wanted to address a little bit about the mass shootings in the USA. I mean, according to the statistics, the official statistics, there averagely there are two mass shootings that happen every day in the USA. It is scary. What kind of society that have two mass shootings every single day and people still it's normal? People still think that it's okay. It's very wrong. At least if you do not understand why it happened, do not have any systematic analysis of the system, you must at least deep inside of you feel something is off here. What kind of society, how sick a society must be to have two mass shootings every single day, and the number is raising. I mean, contingents in USA, you're still completely fucked if you're poor. What are you talking about? You're 100 times fucked if you're poor in the USA. That's my take into it. Of course, you're fucked if you're poor everywhere, but in the USA, you're 100 times more fucked because the people will just treat you like animal. People treat you fucking like animal, and you don't have any help whatsoever. And yeah, it's alienation. It's terrible. Oh my gosh, mass shooting happened in Brazilian schools. God damn it. Oh, oh yeah, xenophobia care. Yeah, okay. And daily chain derailments. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Voting is controlled by brainwashing and cultivated stupidity. I mean, the fact that it only like 55 under 60% of people in the USA actually went to vote, it is something. In Vietnam, the number is 95%. Because we actually care about voting. And we believe we understand, we believe that our votes are counted. That's why we have a trust in the system. Otherwise, 95% of our people go vote, and also we make it possible for people to go to vote. Not like the USA. It's like where you do not have, an address, you cannot register to vote, which is bullshit. Where lots of houses, people, millions of houses, people are there. They do not have a address, so they cannot vote. So it means that they have a no voice whatsoever in the society that they're living in. It's a bourgeois democracy. I said it so many times. They make it so hard for non wealthy people to go to vote because they don't have a saying. They don't care. Also, it is creepy. But in the last broadcast, we talked about it. How Florida is passing a law to give a death sentence to queer people. So, and this is how they do it. You can go back and watch the broadcast, but this is literally how they do it. And if you do not believe my words, go research for yourself. First of all, they made being queer like drag shows. People like the queer community. They define the queer community as like sex offender to children sex offender. All right, they made that, and then they made it legal to give a death sentence for sex offenders, especially sex offenders to children. All right, and that's the second step. And the third step right now is that they make death sentence easier. Like they only need like 4 to 8 votes to give you someone death sentence, rather than all the 12 votes have to vote for it. All right, 8-4. So it's just only need like 8 people vote for it, and that's it. There's a death sentence. So you see how they escalate the situation. First, they define queer community as sex offender. Step 1. Step 2, they allow death sentence for sex offenders. Step 3, they make it easier to give death sentence to criminals. That is how they are putting death sentence on queer community. That is how they trying to kill us all. I am bisexual Vietnamese woman. All right. And a lot of people, because since they don't have systematic analysis ability, they cannot see the connections. They cannot see the development process right here. They see like, they just see like they believe in the social media, in the media, mainstream media, of course. That like all of those queer people are sex offenders. And they see they want like, it's easier to give that sentence. They do not see the connection between this. It is scary. It is deadly, and I don't know what to do. I am very scared. I am scared for you, and I'm scared for us too, because it's getting harder and harder to fight against it, and lots of people will lose their life because of that system. And it's gonna be harder for Vietnam to survive if the USA keep getting more and more violent and more fascist, openly fascist. It's going to be more dangerous for Vietnamese people too. Thank you so much for your super chat, Chimamadu. Uninformed people will say that Vietnam is not a real communist country. They say that it is a capitalist country because they do trade. Yeah, exactly. Oh, talking about this, man. So I know a person in the USA, a conservative, I think. Yeah, and they think that they are capitalist, and they think that capitalism is when trading. And I had to explain to them this, like, first of all, you are not a capitalist, because capitalism is not an ideology. It is a mode of production. It is called the capitalist mode of production, where the rich using all their power to accumulate wealth. It is not an ideology. That's first of all. Second of all, you're not a fucking capitalist because you do not own any means of production. The best thing I can describe to that person is that you're maybe petty bourgeois, in a sense that, like, yeah, you have your own work, you go work for people, you own a little bit of means of production, like your own car. Yeah, but like you are being extremely heavily exploited by capitalists, right? So first of all, they are not capitalists because capitalism is not an ideology. And since it's not an ideology, it's a mode. It is just a mode of production. And since they do not own, any means of production, they are not capitalists. They can't not be capitalists, but they don't own anything. Even the houses they're living in is owned by the banks, not by them. And third of all, no, capitalism is not one trade. People have been trading for thousands of years before a concept of capitalism exists. All right? People have been trading for thousands of years. Vietnamese, we've been trading with other tribes. We've been trading with different other countries, our neighbor countries, for at least 5 or 6 fucking thousand of years. So we had market. Capitalism doesn't mean market. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that people are so ignorant and uninformed that they equate capitalism to market and money. Like how ding dong you must be, how uneducated you must be to equate capitalism to having a market and trading other people. Because yeah, Vietnam, we've been trading with other countries, we've been having market where we sell our stuff for thousands of fucking years before capitalism existed, even before feudalism time. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. Capitalism is a mode of production where capitalists accumulate wealth and where they buy labor from workers and steal the values a worker made and call it profit. And again, it's a surplus value. They accumulate and they accumulate wealth, they accumulate natural resources, and they steal the surplus value that should have belonged to the workers. That is capitalism. It is not when trade, it is not when money, it is not when market. I am so frustrated. People literally leave struggling every single day, do not own any fucking shit, and say, "Oh, I'm a capitalist." Like, you should be ashamed of yourself because you do not understand what capitalism means. You do not understand where is your position, and you do not understand what actually meant. You do not know that your labor is being stolen by the capitalist, and you are suffering because of that, and you could have had more. You deserve way more. It's sad, man. It's really sad. For me, that sounds like German Nuremberg laws in 1935. Yep, Jews was defined as non-citizens and enemy alliance. Exactly. I mean, yeah, that is it. That is Nazi Germany 101 right there. And it's not even surprising because the Nazis learned from the USA. The Holocaust. They learned it from, how the USA been treating Native Americans. Temporary emperors, billionaires over there. Yeah, god damn it. There is no self-made billionaire whatsoever. I tell you that. The concept of self-made billionaire is bullshit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's It's terrifying. They are normalizing, they are manipulating conscious the people about queer people. I mean, according to a lot of trustworthy statistics, the vast majority of US citizens support queer people and they do not want to commit genocide against queer people. But because the system in USA is a bourgeois democracy run by capitalist, racist, fascist, they are using their money and their power, soft power, to control the narrative of the US citizens, USians. They control it, manufacturing reality, you know, manufacturing consent and perceptual reality. Yes, according it is. I like Michael Parenti, and I cannot recommend enough the book Inventing Reality. Please go there. It is way better than manufacturing consent. By Noam Chomsky, I tell you that. All right. And Michael Parenti also had a term where he called it perceptual reality. It means that the bourgeois state of the USA, they want to control the opinion of the people, but they cannot do it directly because they want to hide it behind the curtain. So instead of forming the people's directly forming the people's opinions, they perceptualize the reality around the people where they form their opinions. Now, how it works in the USA right now, the real reality is that the vast majority of US citizens, USians, they do not hate queer community. They do not want to commit genocide against queer community. But the bourgeois state right now, the USA, is perceptualizing a fake reality where they describe queer community as child sex offender. They describe queer people as dangerous, as mass shooters, as all kinds of dangerous type of people. They are creating a fake reality where people will form their opinions from. Lots of people in the USA, most of the time they spend time with watching Fox News, CNN, ABC. They do not encounter actual real queer community in real life. All the information that they get is from the mainstream media. And then, yes, perceptual reality. All the information that they receive is how horrible queer people are. And from that kind of perceptual reality, they form their opinion. And then the bourgeois state in USA use that as a justification to genocide queer people. That is what Texas is doing. That is what Florida is doing. That is what Fox News is doing. I'm fucking sick of Fox News. And about, the anti-China sentiment, anti-China propaganda in the mainstream media, yeah, they are creating a reality, a fake reality, where China is evil, where Chinese are bad, where China is buying on every single one of you to steal you something. Like, what are you talking about? Literally, even if somehow China is listening to every single one of you, they are on the different side of the fucking earth. And you're just a random somebody living in poverty in the USA, living in a house that you don't even own. Nobody gives a shit about what you think. Meanwhile, literally, Alexa is right in the corner of your house, listening to every single word that you said, and every single time you mention every single product. Immediately in your phone, in your internet, in your computer, in your TV, you receive the ads of that exact same product. Is that fucking creepy? At the same time, the NSA admitted a long time ago that they've been listening to the US citizens, and they receive no consequences whatsoever, no pushback whatsoever. So what are you scared? Who should you be scared of? A country that is on the other fucking side of the earth, that probably do not give a shit about you, do not even know that you existed, or the country that literally controlling you, ruling over you, that listening to every single one of you to give ads to you, and God know whatever kind of things they can use from listening and spying on you. Like, it's ridiculous. It's Yeah, they are building a narrative, the xenophobia right there. And what's the point of it? The point of it is to build racism, to build xenophobia. So in the future, when the USA has any intervention to China, including the violent intervention, the military attack or something, they will be justified because yeah, it's just like in Vietnam in 1960s, how to in order to justify the invasion of Vietnam by the USA. The USA been spending decades from the 50s all the way to 65 to build a false theory. It's called domino theory. It's bullshit. It's totally fucking bullshit. They build that narrative that commies are evil, and if we allow commies to take over in Vietnam, it means that communism will take over Asia, and it will be a big threat to the USA. Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? We just want fucking independence and freedom. What the fuck are you talking about? All right. They build that narrative so they can justify the invasion of Vietnam to kill over 2 millions of innocent Vietnamese citizens, and to, poison over other 4 million Vietnamese people by Agent Orange. That even to this day, thousands of Vietnamese kids still being born with birth defects because of Agent Orange. And what? The USA doesn't face any consequence whatsoever for violating the Geneva Convention, for using chemical weapons for a purpose of genocide, a whole innocent people. They don't face anything. They use napalm, gasoline bombs, napalm to kill our own people. They use Agent Orange with dioxins. This is the most poisonous substance in the entire world to this day that human ever, made. The most poisonous toxin ever in humanity that we ever found before. And what? They receive no consequence whatsoever. Nobody sanctioned them. Nobody fucking sanctioned them. They never paid any compensation to Vietnam. They didn't even acknowledge it. Vietnam has been suing the USA for decades, at least 20 years. We've been suing the USA to all kinds of international courts all over the world to force them to acknowledge what they did in the Vietnam War. But what? Most of you don't even know that we've been suing the USA. Because what? They control the social media. They control the mainstream media. They hide information from you. The purpose of Vietnam suing the USA is not because we want your money. No, we don't give a shit about your dollars. What we want is that by doing that, we want the rest of the world to know what happened in the Vietnam War, what the USA did to Vietnamese people, and how it was wrong, and how the whole world need to acknowledge it and need to fight against it and make sure that it won't happen in the future to anybody. But sadly, the people in the USA, they are so indoctrinated that they don't know about it. Or even if they know that the USA used Agent Orange in Vietnam, but they didn't know the scale of it. They thought that they just spray some barrels somewhere to kill the leaf, to kill the crops. But no, they spray more than a half of the country of Vietnam. And nowadays, 4 fucking millions of Vietnamese people living in birth defect and disability because of that. And yeah, the US is accusing Russia of war crimes. Here's the thing. I am against the war. I want the war to end. And it might be true, it might not be true that Russia committing war crimes. I am not an expert on it, and I'm not going to comment on it. What I want to comment is that the USA has no moral high ground whatsoever in lecturing any other country on fucking earth about war crimes, because they are the biggest war crime. They are the bullied of the world. They are the terror. I cannot say the word. They are the terrorists of the world. No moral high ground whatsoever in lecturing other countries. So it's ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's embarrassing. Seeing the USA, lecturing going around and people to do this, to do that. Also, it's disgusting. Seeing the USA using, NID and NS8 and all kind of organization, NGOs, to literally go around countries like Vietnam especially, use their money, to build, to build, rainbow capitalism, to accuse Vietnam of like not care about human rights, of not care about the queer community. They've been accusing Vietnam of being queerphobia, of being queerphobic, and homophobic. Like, yeah, I know that we are not fucking perfect and we are working on it, but look at your own fucking house. And looking at how Florida and Texas and many other states are passing laws to genocide queer people. Do you really think that you have a moral high ground whatsoever in lecturing us? Seriously, just shut the fuck up and go fix your own backyard first. Jesus Christ. And we know for a fucking fact that those NGOs, they do not care about Vietnamese people. Give me a fucking break. You really think that they care about us? No, they don't. They serve capitalist hegemony. They serve capitalism and imperialism. All they want to do is to sow distrust in between the community of Vietnam. They use our grievance. They use the struggles of queer people in Vietnam for their own purpose. They do not give a shit about queer people. They do not give a shit about us at all. I am a member of queer community. Those NGOs, they act like they care about us. They act like want to help us to have a louder voice in our society. But in fact, all they do is that they want to stir up instability. They want to stir up distrust between our people. They want us to work for them to become their pawn of imperialism, to serve the purpose of sabotaging our own country. That is why I do not trust NGOs. I do not trust, and especially NGOs that has a connection with USAID, with NED, with VOA, with Radio Free Asia, with BBC, with Reuters. Especially NGOs that talk about shit like, like human fucking rights. Give me a fucking break. Shilomado, thank you so much for the super chat. There were also lies and false stories being spread around the US about how China, Russia, and sometimes Vietnam are colonizing Africa. Oh my gosh, yes. God damn it. Here's the thing I say. Even if somehow Vietnam is colonizing Africa, which is ridiculous, it doesn't happen in fucking real life. What is the USA to lecture us? What is the USA to point their fingers at us? They are the biggest colonizer. Checking the chat again. We have about 25 minutes left. Oh, I really appreciate this. Appreciate it. In Australia, huh? I don't know what's been going on in Australia. I haven't heard much about Australia at all. Mostly, obviously, in the last MOONCAST, broadcast or something, 2 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks ago. We read a feel good story. Oh my God, can you believe it? There is a feel good story in Australia, New South Wales, about a restaurant, a kitchen in New South Wales. Since because of COVID or something, they have a labor shortage, and they fix the problem by recruiting 11-year-old kids, and they act like it is a feel good story about bringing back child labor. It was reported by ABC News. The official Twitter of ABC News with golden check. It's not a parody, it's not sarcastic, it's not sarcasm. It is supposed to be serious about Australia brought back child labor, and those kids got paid shit. They got paid what do you call it, award wages, which is an Australian term for underpaid labor. And those children, they can't even keep their own tips, but all their tips will be donated to a different charity group. And it's supposed to be a feel good story that kids are now helping grown ups in factories. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah. Thank you so much. I frequently see American pro-lifer attacking Vietnam, China, and DPRK as having very liberal abortion laws. They call your country extreme. Oh my gosh, yes. I want to talk about this too. I want to talk about this. All right, now. I am a bisexual Vietnamese woman, and I consider abortion to be our right. All right? It is a right to get abortion. Now, why I'm thinking this? I'm not a killer, I'm not a fucking murderer. But here's the thing. Having a kid is a very heavy duty. And there are a lot of people who are not ready for it yet, especially rape victims. All right? And it must be the mother's decision and the mother's family's decision to get an abortion. And also, if that kid was not born in love and with good living conditions, that's gonna be miserable for the kid too. It is unfair for the kids to survive. And the orphanage in the USA, the foster system in the USA, lots and lots and lots of orphans in the USA who lived in the foster home were victims of sexual abuse by the foster parent. It should be the right of the person who carried that baby to decide they want to have that baby or not. And also at the same time, people usually, because those people, ignorant people, they see it is a fact that the birth rate in the USA is declining. And they blame abortion for that, which is totally wrong. People do not want to have kids anymore. It is because two main things. First of all, there's no fucking healthcare. It's too expensive. Maternity leave and paternity leave. How the fuck can you have a time to have a baby? And life over there is miserable. You have no healthcare. And then if you have pregnant, you're very much likely to lose their job, so they cannot survive anymore. Of course, nobody wants to have kids anymore. And the third one is that look at society. 2 mass shootings happen every single day. It's a society full of problems and issues and fascism and violence. I don't want to raise my children in that kind of environment. All right, that is why I totally understand. I do not judge anybody at all. I totally understand if anybody do not want to have kids in the USA right now. Because look, except if you're extremely wealthy, you can pay for everything. Okay, you can have kids. But the mass majority of the USians living in poor conditions. They cannot have it. They can't afford to have a kid. That's why I totally understand it. And that is the main reasons why the birth rate in the USA is declining. It's not because of abortion. It's not. Abortion is just a consequence of having a sick society where, you know, condoms is expensive. Baby pills is expensive. And raising a baby is expensive. And also a society where sexual abuse still exists. Rape still exists. So it's disgusting for me to read news stories about a 10-year-old kid got raped by an old man. She got pregnant and she went to the hospital, a clinic to get abortion. And people gather around that clinic to stop her from having an abortion. At that moment, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. How evil those people must be. A 10-year-old victim of rape do not want to have a kid, because if even it would be a death sentence for that girl to deliver that kid. It is how destructive it is to raise a child which is the product of rape. It is hard to overcome that. It is disgusting. And of course, lots of people, they are not in a good condition enough to care for that kid. How the fuck can those people stop them from doing that? And then they go out and they lecture the world about how we are murderer. No. Abortion is a human right. Abortion is for freedom of women. All right? Abortion is about freedom of women. It is heartbreaking to see, the anti-abortion people go around and act like they have a moral high ground of, judging other people of, doing that. No, that's none. First of all, it's none of your fucking business. Second of all, you don't know what they are dealing with. And third of all, if the kid not born and the kid cannot stay with the mother, it will be sent to orphanage, it will be sent to foster care, and they will very much likely to become the victim of all kinds of abuse. And abortion is about women's freedom because, yes, in order to have the best quality of life, people who can carry children, they need to have a good health. They need to have enough time to spend on their own life. It is a problem. So there is on YouTube channel, on YouTube there is a movie named The Yukon That Moved Mountain, which is a really great documentary. I do not recommend the channel that hosted it, but the documentary itself is good. How Yukon moved mountain. Yeah, it is good. That is a documentary about China right around the end of their cultural revolution. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that in that episode of the documentary, there was a woman meeting in that village, and they were talking about, how to do the family plans, you should only just have 2 kids only, and they taught other people about, how to avoid having children, like having baby pills or condoms, something like that. And then the interviewer asked them like, okay, why are you teaching other people this? What's the point of teaching women of not having kids? And that woman in that village, a 60-year-old woman, a farmer, she said like, yeah, talking about this is good for women because it's about women's freedom. Women need to have a time to improve their quality of life, have a time to take care of their own self, and to have a time to develop their dreams, to follow their dreams, and to live with the community, to enjoy the life. The purpose of an existence of a woman is not to have a babies. It is about abortion is about women's freedom. Now I totally agree with that, because there are a lot of true stories in Vietnam that a woman, because she is uneducated, so she kept having babies and babies and babies, and being used by men. She doesn't have anybody to support her. She just kept being pregnant and kept giving birth, and nobody can help her. She has true story happened in Vietnam. A woman have 7 kids. They all like 1 year old from that she lives alone and she's extremely poor. What kind of freedom is that when a woman being used by men and keep having babies and babies and babies without any help from anybody, because she lives alone in some poverty house, and she was not educated enough for that? What kind of freedom is that? That is disgusting for both the mother and the 7 kids who were born in that kind of situation. They did not choose to be born in that. They have no saying in this. It is entirely the decision of the mother and her family. And that is why I do believe that abortion is the right of anybody who can carry children. And it's a none of any business of those other people who want to judge other people or something like that. All right? It is their own decision. Alabama bill death penalty for abortion. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jason. It is depressing. This happened here in Brazil. A judge tried to stop the legal abortion. You do not understand that a section of the U.S. do not care about children, but they say they do. Yeah, true. By the way, abortion is legal in Vietnam. Abortion in Vietnam was never, ever illegalized. And we just made abortion officially legal in Vietnam in the 80s, and that is it. End of the story. The topic of abortion should be legal or illegal is never being brought up in Vietnam, because it is obvious it should be legal. You don't even question it,
There's no controversy.
There's no controversy whatsoever about that.
Did you promote Luna Oil Live yet to the Luna Oil?
Oh yeah, I forgot. We have about 10 minutes left in the stream, and I want to spend this a few minutes to promoting my new, not new, relatively new channel. It is Luna Live. I'm sending the link right now in the chat, because this is my first MOONCAST in so long. So that's why I'm sending the link. That's why I'm live streaming from the main.
It says youtube.com/LunaOil.
I got it. That is the link.
No, you sent the link to this stream.
Oh, you do it.
Which is fine because if they're watching on youtube.com/.
Yeah. Sorry, but anyway, from now on, after this first stream after a long time ever, from now on I will just be streaming on Luna Live. The reason is this: the algorithm hates live streaming and video mixing together. So in order to optimizing our channels, I had to move all my streams to a new channel called Luna Live, where we will be hanging out there, doing those fun together. And this main Luna is going to be just for scripted videos. Okay, that's it. So if you want to watch me more and ask me questions, hang out together, go check out the Luna Live channel.
Luna, wait.
Yes.
I have a request.
Yes.
You talked about the article already, right?
Yes.
All right. So did you
What?
Did you talk about development?
Yes.
Did you show the part of the book about development?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
See, he didn't trust me.
No, it wasn't that I didn't trust you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you.
You
I have a
showed it.
$5,000. You want this? This is your lunch.
My lunch money?
Yeah, lunch money.
I might be able to find a Vietnamese for that lunch.
This is the Ho Chi Minh. So in Vietnam, to avoid confusion or something like that, there's only one person can be on our money, which is Ho Chi Minh. So you say you have how many people? Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. Am I right?
I don't want to talk about all the different assholes on our money. There's a lot of assholes on our money.
Yeah, a lot of assholes.
And each one of them, in their own way, a mass murderer or a monster of history.
And being this is $5,000, which is equal to like 25-30 cents. Yeah. In the back, it is our Hòa Bình power plant. It is built by the USSR in Vietnam in the 70s and in the 80s.
Oh, I have a funny story I can share.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
In 1945, okay, imagine this. It's 1945. Fascist Japan is losing World War II, and you're about to launch your big revolution to overthrow the fascist Japanese and declare independence. But here's the problem. You don't have telecommunication systems. You don't have control over telegraph lines. You don't have a lot of manpower to send couriers all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you give the signal to the whole region?
A region.
How do you give the signal to the whole region? Because it's not just Hanoi, but it's like all the other towns around Hanoi and everything. How do you give the signal? Now is the time to start the revolution. How do you give a signal to that many people across that huge of a distance? You don't have radios, you don't have telegraph lines or anything like that. What do you do to make everybody know now's the time to start the revolution? Here's what the Vietnamese did. They went to the power plant, the electrical power plant, and the signal was when they cut the power, that's go time. So they cut all the breakers.
So smart.
And that was like, go, go, go. I thought that was really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that at the B-52 Victory Museum yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We also saw the uniform of the workers' union self-defense unit, of a workers' union self-defense unit.
Mm-hmm.
So during that stage of the revolution, this is why people need to understand development. So, because like the way that Vietnam's revolution developed is very fascinating. And in the beginning, the main forces, okay, we're talking military, like paramilitary forces, were workers' unions. So they actually had like at the museum, dark time is a revolution time, right? Exactly. When light go out, start revolution. But they actually had like union uniforms. Mm-hmm. So like what kind of factory was it that the person worked in? Do you remember? I got the photo on my phone.
Yeah, go check it out. I forgot about
They worked at a specific kind of factory, but that factory had a union, and the union was also like a revolutionary community defense fighting force.
Yep.
So, this is before they had like a military to speak of, in the 1940s. And of course, a lot of this was done in secret before the fascists got kicked out. And then those were like the basis for starting the revolution. And if you read People's War by People's Army, if you read People's War, People's Army by Von Zapp, he talks about building an army out of basically nothing. Mm-hmm. You start with these.
And here's the thing, if you ever lost hope in the reality community, just go find the writing of Ho Chi Minh or Von Zapp. You will get very much more revolutionary optimism, right? Because we were in also very miserable situation.
Yeah. I wish I could be in the meeting when they're all like brainstorming.
Yeah, right.
How do we signal everybody that
exactly?
It's time
And they must have brainstorming hard.
I hope whoever had that idea got a medal.
So freaking smart. Like, if we can't control anything, we don't have nothing. What do we do? We're gonna sabotage the power plant when the power's off. That is the moment when we should start the revolution. So smart.
What was the book recommendation again? Talking about our book?
Our book or the People's War, People's Army?
Oh, People's War, People's War. Start over again.
People's War,
People's Army by Von Zapp.
It's An awesome book. Go check it
It's
out.
spelled VO.
If you're like, especially a military nerd.
Well, you don't even have to be a military nerd to enjoy it, actually. It talks about
No, is that
struggle.
especially?
Yeah, especially, yeah. But it talks about development. It talks about, it's dialectically based in its analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And he talks about, one of the things he talks about a lot about is the demand for, well, something that he and Che Guevara both wrote about is how they needed machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
Not just guns, but machine guns.
Mm.
And that's something Che Guevara and Volkmann Zapp talk about a lot, is that like it's really hard to fight a war if you don't have automatic weapons. It makes you very, very, I don't know, that seems to be key. So anyway, all right.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, everybody. So I'm gonna stop streaming now about 5 minutes. So if you have any question, quick, you have 5 minutes.
Lightning round.
All right. Kim Yo Chong. There's a Kim Yo Chong in our chat today. You two are so cute. I know it is not that Kim Yo Chong, but yeah, okay.
I'm cute.
I'm cute.
I'm cute.
Oh my god.
You don't know that clip? Have I shown you that?
I think you showed me that. Yep.
It's one of my favorite clips of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Is the ebook a PDF? There is a ebook version. There's EPUB, PDF, HTML.
No, we don't have HTML yet. We will have HTML.
We will. Okay. So there's both EPUB and PDF.
And the international shipping price will drop to $15.
Yes.
Very soon. So
very soon, maybe by
want to be notified
tomorrow.
when that happens, email us.
The fastest is gonna be right tomorrow, but we will announce everybody. It's like 50% off. So amazed. We've been trying really freaking hard to get that possible. Oh, you didn't know that it would be signed? Oh, this is a nice surprise, huh? The book. They bought the book without knowing that we signed it.
Oh, really? We have a few signed copies left, but there's no guarantee you'll get one.
Yeah, very few, I think.
They're mixed in now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a lottery.
Oh, okay.
Because my mom can't just check every copy,
Travel, I want to go buy the book. Yeah, please. We have a green version. We have a EPUB version. We have a HTML version. And, about the ebook version, you can choose your own price from 0 to whatever you can afford. So it's pretty much that's it. And all the subsisting, all the donations will be for my time spending on translating the part 2. And yeah, hopefully within a year we can have that. We learned a lot doing this first book, and now we kind of a little half expert about how to publish a book. I mean, pretty much amazing. Tyler, what book are you talking about? The book I'm talking about is this book. It is the curriculum of the basic principles of Marxism-Leninism that I translated and I put annotation. Most of the book is in the annotation, the explanation of what it means when it says this. And it is supposed to be the first book for you if you want to ever learn about Marxism-Leninism. And from this book, you can read more, actual writings of Lenin or Marx or, other kind of, Amiramin, Gramsci, Parenti, like that. But this is the book where you get the basic, correct understanding of Marxism-Leninism. This is like the skeleton for you if you want to understand this ideology correctly. Oh my gosh, the post office damaging your book?
Oh, if that happens, let us know.
Damn, if that happens, let us know.
We can do an insurance claim.
Yeah, if that happened, please email us.
Send us a photo of the damage too.
Yeah. Here. You can, yeah, please send the email. Take a picture of that damaged part and send to this email non-compete co-op@gmail.com, and the title should be like book damaged or something like that. Yeah, book damaged.
There's no guarantees, but what we can try to do is file an insurance claim and
Yeah,
either
we would try.
reimburse you or get you a replacement or something.
Yeah, we're trying to fix that for you. I mean, we can't even like, you know.
Oh, there's two things you need to take a picture of. One would be
two
the
things.
one would be the damage, and then take a picture of the there's a barcode. It'll be different on the back of the book, but the last page has a barcode. I don't know if the barcode shows any, but it'll look like a blank
Like
page
the
on the
last
back.
page like this, and it's gonna be like the last page that's gonna be the barcode here.
Depending on which printer, it'll look different, but we need the barcode on the last page, and we need the picture of the damage. FYI.
So we have like each book will have a different barcode, and you need to take a picture of that. I made a mistake. At first, I thought it was the barcode in the last page like this. Made a mistake. And after that, I realized that it was going to be the
No, it is the barcode on the last page. It's not the barcode on the back.
On the back. Not this one. Not this one. Don't do this. Okay. Oh, they shoved it in my P.O. box. Oh
That
my,
sucks.
that sucks.
USPS, I guess.
USPS, yeah. Where can I buy the book? It's banyanhouse.org. Give me a second. I'm gonna share the screen of the website. You can go there. You can buy directly from us. This one. This. And then here's the link. banyanhouse.org. Do you think Vietnam and China will collab more in the future? Of course, yeah. That's unquestionable. We will.
They're making progress on the islands finally.
Some kind of pretty much a bright side. So yeah. Oh, my neighbor gave me the Vietnamese dessert. Her friend from work's friend who's Vietnamese made it. Bánh bột báng. Yeah, I know that. Bánh bột báng. It is a southern, I think, bánh bột báng. Let's see. Yeah, I love this. Is it? Oh my God, man, I love this cake. Is it the cake that they gave you? Give me a second. I'm sharing the screen right now. I want to have some of this, to be honest. So if I am right, and if the Google give me the right name for it, it is a bánh bột báng. It is it's so good. The filling is usually mung beans. Is sweet with coconut and milk in it. You can have a sweet version or salty version. That's fine. But the outside is tapioca powder, and we steam it. So yeah, it's awesome. You're going to study in China this summer? That's amazing. Okay, hope you have a nice time over there. I really want to travel to China soon. I speak some Mandarin. I think that I can fit in. Tapioca powder is blessed. Yeah, I love it so much. All right, we are over time right now. I'm gonna go have privilege of going outside and having some delicious street food right now in Hanoi. I'm very happy. Thank you, Ray. Glory to the people of Vietnam. Thank you so much. Okay, it's very nice to finally meeting you all again after 6 months of not streaming at all. And the last announcement is that this is going to be my last stream on my main channel, Luna Ơi. From now on, I will be just streaming on my Twitch channel, Luna_Ơi, or on my Lunar Life channel, youtube.com/lunarlife. So go check it out, go subscribe it. And that channel is going to be just for live streaming. And this Lunar is going to be just for scripted videos.
You might stream on that channel so that the archives won't be there.
I might sometimes stream here, but the archive will not be here. You're right. Okay. All right. So yeah, my serious recommendation is just check out, subscribe to that Lunar Life, and to make sure that you will have.
FamilyHouse.org/shop. You get the ebook for free.
I told them
Or,
that. Check out the ebook for free. Okay. Bye, everybody. Love you all, and see you next week. Oh, thank you so much for the super chats. So let me check this to make sure I do not miss any super chat. Okay, good. We got it. Okay. Thank you so much. Ciao. Xin chào.
Tạm biệt.
Tạm biệt.